We keep finding new stories about people every day. Elvis right here. The 4 men jumped Elvis on stage. We haven't really heard Elvis in too many brawls or physical altercations.
What's up, guys? So I got a very interesting story to tell you. This was in February 1973 in Las Vegas. So Elvis just got done doing Aloha from Hawaii, January 14th. He had a few weeks off, and then he had to go right back to Vegas, which is another story. All right, so the events that happened this night were really interesting. So Elvis wasn't really doing very well after the Aloha from Hawaii special. February 15th, he actually left the show for about 20 minutes because he was complaining of throat problems, and a few people were saying that it's actually from the pills, medication he was doing was affecting his throat. I don't know why, because he always seemed to be doing that. Maybe it was a different combination, but anyway, they said he was having problems with his throat because of the heat and the dry air in Vegas. So he left the show for 20 minutes. Charlie took over, but that's another story that I'll tell you guys another time. Anyway, that was the 15th. Now we go to the 18th. And something very interesting that never happened in the Elvis show happened this night. All right, so let's start right from the top. Elvis was in Vegas. He started his show, and Elvis comedian came out, Jack Hain, and he would always start up Elvis' shows, get the crowd warmed up. There was 4.
Man, it just looked like Elvis on something right here. He do not look sober right here. These eyes do not look sober. Look like he been up for 40 hours straight.
Lady right up front at a table. There was 4 men in the audience with another lady right up front at a table. Okay, so it started right then where they were starting to roll empty beer bottles across the stage, hitting Jackie in his foot, just rolling him right across the stage, hitting him. And that was something a little different, I'd say. And at that time, the Vegas stage wasn't set up like we're used to from early on in the Vegas years. This was 1973, and they adopted that little ramp that was going out from the stage, just like we had in Aloha from Hawaii. So Elvis had more access to the fans. So what really kicked this thing off was 3 songs into Elvis's concert. This girl from the group stands up on a table and starts walking across the table to get to that ramp leading to the stage. She walks on the stage, and the whole crowd is in kind of like a hushed silence because, normally a fan would come up to Elvis and be crazy and wild and so excited. But this lady very calmly walked up to Elvis in mid-song, didn't hug him, didn't do nothing like that. And like she was in a trance, like with her index finger and thumb, slowly grabbed the scarf from around his neck, put it around hers, and walked back to the table and gave the scarf to the leader of the group. And which was very odd. It was like maybe she was, who knows?
Oh, so she thought she was like the main character trying to be majestic
or whatever, because it wasn't like a normal fan would do this. So that was very interesting. So you could start to see that something's not right from this group. And I believe also at one point they were shouting for Elvis to do songs, and he says, "I pick my own songs." So anyway, what kicked it off was
okay, so that group was already kind of pressing Elvis buttons a little bit.
Elvis, during Suspicious Minds, would always start to do those karate movements at the end. He'd either have a karate demonstration, or he would, start to get in just a few karate movements just to end up the song. Anyway, when Elvis started to do that,
is that really him right there doing that on stage?
Just a few karate movements just to end up the song. Anyway, when Elvis started to do that, 2 people from that group jumped onto the ramp and started walking up towards Elvis. Well, immediately, Jerry Schilling, Sony, and Red West went to, stop these people. And just after that, 2 more people walked up on stage from that group. So now there was 4 people on stage, and they were coming to Elvis. Now, from where Elvis was on the stage, he couldn't really see them because they were walking up the ramp, and Elvis was doing his karate stuff, and it was like sort of out of the corner of his eye, so he couldn't see them in the shadows. So, long story short, the bodyguards got them, but one of them made it to Elvis. The crowd was in, like, what is going on here? One of them got to Elvis, and Elvis did some type of karate movement and knocked him off the stage. And
wow.
I would have loved to see that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because Elvis studied karate since 1960. And one of them got up to Elvis, and Elvis did some type of karate movement. All the reports I've read doesn't really elaborate and get into detail on exactly what he did, but basically he threw him off the stage using some type of karate movement, which is awesome. And I even heard a report saying J.D. Sumner got from behind the mic and started helping Elvis out. Well, Elvis was in a rage after that. He was totally hyped up. The crowd was in a frenzy. The cops took those.
They didn't get none of this on camera.
3 other people in handcuffs and got them away from the stage. One of the fans got kicked in the face. And Vernon and Tom Diskin were in the middle of the stage holding Elvis back as Elvis was so worked up about it, as you can imagine. You know, they just came up in Vegas and started attacking Elvis. They came in like a karate stance, like they were challenging him in a karate fight. And when I first heard the story when I was like 16, I remember I came across it and I was like, wow, this is so interesting. I never heard of anything like that.
Yeah, I never heard about this neither. I never even heard of Elvis slapping somebody.
Yes, actually, 4 people.
Do you like having a P.O. box but are tired of wasting?
We never heard of him slapping somebody, but this whole time he was doing karate moves on people.
The stage to try to get to Elvis. Now, this isn't the rest of the story. I mean, that's not the whole story. There's more. So, Elvis gets back on mic, and he says, "I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry I didn't break their GD neck." And the crowd screams and applauds.
I can see him saying that.
And this is what he says also. He says, "I'll never let another MFer do this at my show. If you want to shake my hand, that's fine. But if you want to pick a fight, I'll whoop your A."
Man.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, indeed.
Now, one thing I will find also a little disturbing, I would
like
say,
that, bro.
is...
I like that. As a man, that's respectable right there. Talking to his fans like that. Gotta let them know sometimes, man. They probably getting too comfortable. They thinking Elvis is just a character. They thinking it's just a name, like it's not a real person. He not allowed to fight you back because he's a celebrity? Nah, bro.
Now, one thing I will find also a little disturbing, I would say, is, right after Elvis does Suspicious Minds, that's the band intros. So the TCB band, James, Ronnie Tutt, Jerry Schiff, all them, they were, as this fight was going on, they were still playing their little band intros during the back.
Oh, wow.
Or in the background. I'm like, wait a minute.
Now, if I'm a performer, if I'm fighting somebody, I will want my people to jump in with me. Get off them drums and help me.
Elvis is getting attacked on stage and you're playing the band intros throughout the whole thing. That was very surprising, and a little disturbing, like, what the heck? And, I don't want to really get into too much February 15th, but when Elvis left the stage, Charlie took over and sang some songs, asked J.D. Stumner and the Stamps to sing some songs, and they did, but he asked the Sweet Inspirations to sing, and they wouldn't sing. Which is like, wait, you guys aren't singing? So it's kind of like, was there some disturbances going on in the band? What was going on? And I read a report yesterday, not to get off topic too far, but at one point in '76, Elvis's band, James, Ronnie, Jerry, I don't know if it's true or not because I'm still investigating it.
What?
Were about to walk off on Elvis, and Elvis had to beg them to stay.
Wow.
Which is like, what was going on? But
wow, really? What was possibly going on? Something really had to happen for them all to want to walk off and nobody to help him? Something had to happen.
76 was a different year. This was 73.
Elvis must have had a ugly side about him or some nasty ways about him, or he just made a big mistake. Something happened, but 4 grown men just don't team up to leave you for no reason.
Anyway, so a lot of you will know, especially if you read the book Elvis What Happened, that when Elvis got backstage, he started to get in a rage, thinking these people were sent from Mike Stone. Because don't forget, the divorce hadn't even been finalized yet with Elvis and Priscilla. And, Elvis is thinking, did Mike Stone send these men to come and try to attack me? And Elvis wanted these people killed.
Who is that? Is that his daughter right there? If that's Elvis's daughter right there, okay, MJ.
Long story short, finally when it got down to it, Elvis said, nah, just forget it all. But Elvis believed that, according from all reports, all that I've read for the most part, especially if you read the book Elvis What Happened and others, Elvis wanted to put a hit out on Mike Stone, and he believed that these people were from them. So I just wanted to bring you this very...
If those people was paid to do that, they did a terrible job. If you was paid to attack him, 1, why would you do it on stage? That's stupid. And 2, How do you let him do a karate move on you and get kicked off the stage, pushed off the stage?
Very interesting story on Elvis is the Man, and that was what happened February 18th, 1973. And I got to check the date, but it was either a few days before or a few days after Elvis met Muhammad Ali in Vegas. So good thing Elvis was prepared and ready, at that time, at the right time.
Yeah, I like these. I think I like the 70s and the 80s because it looked like, I just seen Little Richard. I believe he was like in the 50s, 60s. But it looked like back here, they didn't have to deal with, y'all didn't have to deal with a lot of things out here. Like, y'all probably didn't have boys out here snipping their Johnsons off, bro. Just looking at this picture right here, it's like wholesome to see because it's like they don't got no fake breasts or something about this picture. It's like real. Like, these is real people. And today, it's just so much food stuff going on. It's a new story every day, bro. If you haven't seen, I just found out who Little Richard is. That video is before this one. Check that one out. We gone.
Goddamn nephew. Want to shake my hand or fine. You want to get tough, I'll whoop his ass.
That were into topless bars and dope, and we found out later when the Las Vegas police ran plates on them, they had carried arms. This one guy runs up on the stage and starts towards Elvis, and he's got a sweater over his hand and this forearm. Red was behind him, caught up with him just before he got down. Grabbed him in a headlock and just kept going right off the stage with him. Didn't even interrupt the show. I mean, Elvis was that. Then he turned him over to a security guard back there, and he came back out because now the rest of the table, about 6 or 8 more guys, are starting to come up there. One of them's got some tape on his knuckles. And so Elvis confronted him, and then I jumped in between, and Jerry Schilling jumped in between. Rib came back, and we started just throwing them off the stage. And they were disrupting the show, and one of the guys had a sword cane, which we found out later was just a cane to us, but the police arrested him. He had a sword cane, which was he had a weapon that he wasn't supposed to have. So they took them, but as they were taking these folks out, the police, hotel security, they were taking these people out, and as they did, fans were hitting on them as they went by like a gauntlet. How dare you do that? And Elvis is up there spinning around doing karate kicks and everything like that. There's no one around him. He's whipping up on somebody up there. But afterwards he said, I'll break their necks if they come back up here again. Well, they took they found out what all they were in. You know, some of them, all of them had records. And they told them about the Memphis Mafia. Well, now these guys took the Memphis Mafia to be mafia, you know, like New York and Kansas City, New Orleans. They asked him to please just take, they thought they had stepped into a hornet's nest. They weren't thinking about us. They thought there was a Memphis Mafia other than us that was behind Elvis. And they asked to be escorted and taken out to the airplane. They said they'd never be back, and they flew out.